Okay, something different from the normal fighting game stuff, and no webinar this time, but I am no professional at all, just very amateur in my beat making skills, my music production skills, and just like any kind of skills based improvement, you kind of got to stick with it. So I always look back, it's like, oh, what if I took it more seriously? Fighting games. What if I took the learning and the approach I take to fighting games now and applied it back like 10, 15 years ago? Where would I be? Um, Learning an instrument for with the work that I do, learning a language, public speaking, all that stuff, you need a lot of practice. And what kind of sucks, it's a double-edged sword in today where you have so many resources for you online. There's so many places that you can look, so many different ways you can improve, but a lot of what's put out there is it sets false expectations, unrealistic expectations, because a lot of people put out really refined work. You don't want to see something that's too amateurish, right? But it makes you believe that maybe you're progressing too slow, or if people don't share the mistakes that they make, all the rough edges, like all the bumps along the way, um, it causes some people to give up too soon. That's some word vomit. You guys know that I kind of suck as a streamer, but the bottom line is Dua Lipa. She had her latest song, I think it's called Love Again. Yes. And it blew my mind. It samples White Town's Your Woman. And that in itself also has a sample of another old song. So I thought maybe we can try to do something with that beat also. And I'm going to be using a website called BandLab. I'm not affiliated with them at all, but they really streamline the process compared to trying to do stuff with like Fruity Loops, or actually I haven't used Fruity Loops in a couple of years, so maybe they've made things a lot easier too. Back in the day, what did people try to learn? Stuff like Cubase, Reaper, Pro Tools, Logic, all that type of stuff. And if you want to increase your skills, it's probably helpful to if you want to take it really, really seriously, it's probably helpful for you to like learn those software things as well. But just for fun, just to get started, like having um, a benchmark, a base point, I think you can do so much with BandLab. And to me, it's like way easier than using Fruity Loops. So we'll walk through it. I might splice some of the stream later and upload it to YouTube so it can be a tutorial for one of my friends who is super talented, Harpsibored. Check her out on YouTube. Does a lot of video game covers on a harp, video game arrangements. She's intimidated by this stuff. Like for a lot of people, if you never mess with this stuff, the interfacing is really intimidating. So the only thing I think I really got to watch out for on this stream here is the DMCA strikes. So I'll have to be muting a lot of the desktop audio, but we'll get to a point where I think I can play it and everything will be all right. So we'll walk through this. A lot of it's not prepped in advance. I'll let you know some of the thoughts I had in advance, but again, keeping it nice and realistic. But I already have the BandLab account, and let's pop up this window right here. So free account. Whenever you're ready to create, after you hit the create tab, this is like what you should see. So if you have a keyboard with a MIDI cable, you'll probably want to use something like this where you're going to be, oh, 1 second here. I got to turn on, I'll just read it out loud. So you have instrumentation, that's where you use the MIDI cable. If you want to program your beats on your own, there's this drum machine tool. And then there's separate tracks where you can use your mic for your vocals, or if you're using a real ghetto rig, you're using your mic to pick up whatever instrumentation, that's fine. But if you have a fancy setup, you can have like a cable port for your guitar, cable port for your bass. Now, a lot of people, if they're building stuff from the ground up, they probably start off with the drum machine because they want to lay out their beat first. But that's not how I usually do it, and that's not what we're going to do today. For White Town's Your Woman, it being such an older song, there's a lot of MIDIs already available. And MIDIs, like if you play it on your computer, it's going to be audio, right? But the MIDI file itself is just data. And if you go on YouTube, you see lots of the synthesia, those piano playings, like all those notes, all those bars that flow, that's the MIDI right there. So you can import if you have the MIDI file, but really, like if you want to just replicate, it's easier than ever to do. It's just going to take a bit more time. But for now, let's go ahead and import. All I did was imported, and this is what it looks like automatically. And I'm not going to play it just yet because of the DMCA concern, but I'm going to mute that audio right quick right here, and I'm going to listen to it real quick. So all I'm doing when I'm listening through right here is like just checking to see if the instrumentation is sounding and coming through like it's supposed to. So with BandLab, you can check each track by itself. You can mute the track, or you can listen to it solo. And these type of options, this is going to be the same for any kind of DAW interface that you use. But I know since we're going to try to make our own beat, or we're going to try to modify this into a remix, we're going to go ahead and delete some of these percussions that are already set. And if you scroll through, you're also checking for stuff that doesn't really translate. So let's look at this track of the timpani. You see it's like barely being utilized. There's all these dots, these bars, these are notes, right? So if it's not being utilized, go ahead and delete it. And if you change your mind, it's always really easy to undo. I mean, you guys know the Control Z shortcut, right? That's all you gotta do. So this FX2 soundtrack. So listen to it solo real quick. Well, let's play this. I don't think there should be a strike just hearing this part. So isolated, it sounds really strange. Within the context of the original song, it's a good accent, but for what we're trying to do, for me, I'm not going to be using that. The bassoon, let's check this. So this is going to happen. Again, like the MIDI is just data, so sometimes it's not always going to translate. So this is set as the bassoon. If there's no audio that's coming out, let's go ahead. Let's go through the steps real slowly. So I click bassoon. At the bottom here, I have instrument, and I'm going to try to change it up. So right now it's set for winds, brass, tuba. Does something come out if I select trumpet? So there's that iconic sample that's used in Dua Lipa's song too. Trumpet is kind of epic. Well, we'll worry about that later. All we want to note is we definitely want to keep the bassoon, right? Checking the bass here. So for me, I always neglect the bass because I always prefer guitar, but we know for any kind of beat, bass is super important. Let's check the cello. Yes, we want to keep that sound, or at least I want to. This synth voice, let's go ahead, check right here. So it's really, really faint. What it defaulted to on the instrumentation, it's not going to let us really get a sense of what the sound is like. So if you want something really simple, always just to check the melody, go to piano and just check with the electric piano. Okay, so unlike that FX sound, maybe this is something we're going to utilize, but right now it doesn't really make sense or fit within the context. So I'm just going to mute this for now, and I'm going to move it down to the bottom. All right. And I'm going to move the horn to the top because that's like the biggest thing that we want to be utilizing. Let's check this here. Electric grand piano. Whoop. Yes, for me, I want to keep that. Electric guitar, where is this utilized? Down here, probably part of the chorus. So another type of accent sound. Gonna mute it for now. And then the last part we want to check here is this grand piano. So again, we're trying to preview it, but no sound is coming out, so we really can't tell how this might work or if you even like the sound. So you got to go down to instrument, change it up. Electric piano. Nothing. Try it one more time. Solo violin. You notice like when it's up here, this is a higher note. Lower. Whoa, where did, oh, bass is right there. Yeah. You see the low notes of the bass. That's all I wanted to show. So the cello here, let's see, solo violin. Nothing is coming out here. So for me, for now, I feel okay with deleting it. So now we've minimized the tracks. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 primaries and these 2 options. It's really important to filter through with this because sometimes if you import a MIDI, you might have like 20 tracks and sometimes they'll be really doubled. A lot of them will be doubled for richness. Like you might have 3 string sections, but when you're starting out, keep it really simple. The less you have, the less there is to manage. Now, the next thing with my thought process when, let's see, Your Woman Remix, save that, is what kind of genre, what kind of feel do we want to go with? So I know I want to make some sort of rap beat. I'm going to think through like what type of influences I have, how heavy or how slow I might want to be. Again, for now, let's mute these. Let's keep it focused on our primary sound, which is that trumpet. And then our bass, right? Something sounds off right there, right? The timing doesn't sound good. Let's rewind real quick. Sounds like there's a delay. So sometimes this happens where it works in the MIDI file itself. Sometimes something happens with import. Sometimes there's an effect that's causing a delay. So again, to me, the priority is the trumpet sound. Can we still utilize this bass? Maybe. We might have to shift things around to get the timing to work. but don't let that bog you down. Like, we have a key melody that we want to utilize, and that's the most important thing right there. So what beat do I think I want to go with? Earlier I told you don't have to, most people, they'll start with the beat itself, the drums, the drum kit. What's really nice about BandLab is you have lots of samples to utilize. So you go to packs, go to genres, let's go hip hop. Let's see here. See, you have high production sounds already. Let's go ahead and click this, because again, we're going to be adding and deleting a lot as we adjust. So you'll notice that these numbers here, these are the beats per minute, and you also have the beats per minute up here. If you import a beat that's a different BPM, it will automatically try to adjust. But if you want the best results, you'll probably want to shift the BPM here. But let's see what happens here. Let's go ahead and put this one in. Very simple to drag and drop. And we're going to move this up. And I'm just going to rename this to drums. So zoom in. So let's see if starting on the second bar right there is good or not. So people who are listening might automatically think that sounds good or automatically think it sounds terrible, but we know that it fits the sequence. Like, for people who don't have a sense of rhythm, who need to fine tune it some more, you can always zoom in, and you can always have the metronome just so you can hear that beat count. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, just like that. And again, for a higher level musician, it might be minusculely off, but I think it sounds okay right now. So if you're happy with that drum beat, you can just click and extend it as long as you want. Let's just leave it there for now. So again, we were having issues with this bass. Let's keep that muted. What happens if we unmute this cello? Sounds okay. Again, they built it in with like the notation of the MIDI where it has like that warp effect, and maybe we want to keep it as a string, but maybe we don't want it as just the cello. What if we do the string orchestra? A lot of people talk about how this sample sounds like Star Wars. Okay, now trumpet is very iconic, but to me it sounds kind of harsh. I wonder if French horn, too epic. Let's go ahead and try it with French horn, see what it sounds like. softer, right? And are we okay with this string sound? Violin better. It sounds thinner than the full orchestra, but I like that. And then at the bottom here you have instrument. Then you can also go to effects, and this is like really good for basically think about enhancing your photos with a filter. This is just like another filter that you can add to the sound. The problem with using BandLab is they are very resource heavy. So this is where you might get some glitching, and I'll show you something that you got to watch out for. But since I'm familiar with some of these sounds, basically if you don't know, you're going to set the filter and you're going to go back and listen and preview. But let's go cinematic ambiance. And then you have lots of tools and options to customize it even further. So this sounds okay. The thing that you're going to watch out for is this volume part right here. Sometimes with the effects, it's going to make it peak into the red. And you guys know, just like with any kind of streaming, the audio peaking doesn't sound good. So it's safe right there. Let's mute the trumpet. Let's go back just so you guys can hear the cello, just so you can hear the difference. So again, so you hear a slight echo. That's what's happening with this effect. Let's play it without the effect. No echo, right? For now, I think we can leave that effect. Again, we're going to be constantly watching this volume bar, because if it peaks, you're going to want to go back to your effects. I think we can also add an effect to our drums here. Make it solo. So just like you did instead of source, we're going to go to effects at the bottom. And you have a lot of options for the drums. For a rap beat, like punchy rap and bumps every time are pretty good. Let's bumps every time. That's definitely going to be something that you got to watch out for the peaking. Let's try a punchy rap. You see this bar is getting really close. So you hear a difference. It is punchy. But is it gonna work with the cello altogether? Safe so far. Now what happens if we add the horn back in? Again, still safe, but what if I want to add an effect to the horn? Let's go with classic chamber. Starting to sound harsh again, which is why I wanted to get away from trumpet. Let's try classic clarity. Gentle overdrive. Any of those ambient filters, there's going to be that added echo, and we don't want everything to be having echo. Let's see, large studio reverb. Large hall. Too harsh. Let's go my preset. Okay, and then let's see if we can make this bass work. See, the timing is all jacked up there. So here, when we gotta correct it, we're gonna use this blade tool, and we're gonna have to like cut the section and then rearrange it. So the weird thing is the start of these notes. What we should try is first changing the instrument. So we have classic synth bass. What happens if we have an acoustic bass? Let's try this real quick. So the timing's still off. And again, just for clarity's sake, I'm going to change the sound just so it's more audible. Let's try a piano. Okay. So again, we got to figure out how we want to cut this. So you'll notice like in this section right here, the sound's not coming through till later. See, no sound. Like you see these notes, but the sound's not coming in till about right here. So what I might do is just, this section seems better. So for simplicity's sake, you know, you can drive yourself crazy getting the perfect timing. I'm gonna try, what if I cut, whoops, wrong section. What if I cut here, delete that, and let's try to get it to line up with this. Nope. Feels like it should be starting at this section. Could also be that this beat that we're utilizing is too slow. Like it really feels like the bass was imported at a different BPM now. So I'm going to undo some of these splices I made. Let's see if what alignment we can get it to kind of work. Feels like it's getting closer. So this is why it's helpful that I should show you something else. So if you're gonna decide that you want to redo it, so again, we have the notation because we imported the MIDI, but you can always go to MIDI editor and you can see the sequence. So you can make adjustments here with each note. Here, I'll go ahead and play it out so you can see it. And that's what's happening up there. But if you flip it and you look at the keyboard and you want to do better, you want to do your own melody line that's kind of like based off of this, you could. For time's sake, I don't know how much I want to keep working with that bass. So this is natural. I mean, maybe some pros out there, they're watching and they're like, well, this would never happen to me, but this is a common occurrence. So what we can do is we can just sidestep that bass for now. Let me go ahead and make sure we get it back to its original form, and we're just going to mute that. Yes, I spilled LaCroix all over my crotch. The price of streaming. Let's get the cello back in. Well, actually, let's delete our drums because I want to show you guys how different things can sound when you utilize different beats. Again, just different kind of flavor right here. No. What if we sped it up to match? Maybe too fast. What's weird is you see this lineup is not happening with this marker. I don't know what kind of glitch is going on. So something like that that's really heavy, for sure you want the bass to be coming in. So it sounds like something's missing, right? But again, our bass tempo or the start of it's not working. Almost better with the faster BPM. Okay, well, that sort of seems like it's working now. What happens if we go to our bass? Not for me. So this is what I was talking about. That's not gonna work. So still kind of muted. Let's go to our effects here. Too much red. Fat is going to be red for sure. go with a different drum sample. I wish there was a better back button. So, Dr. Dre kind of feel. What if we change this completely away from a horn? How about a more appropriate bass? It's weird. The tempo of the bass is lining up, but we need a better sound. That kind of works, but I don't like how it sounds in my headphones. I like this beat, just not for right now. Nothing but a G thing, baby. Let's let the drums come in at that fourth spot. Let's take out the strings. Let's hear from the top here. what if, let's cut this here. I'm just going to shift it. We'll worry about it in a second. How this sounds together. I think that sounds okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shift this. Oh wait, no, not the bass. The cello part. Ah, okay. So we need to cut this. Because, you know, at the very beginning, there's basically silence. So that's why we can't just do a simple shift. So we cut that out of the way. So when we shift this here, again, oops. What happens with this accent sound? Forgot about that. Tempo, the start is weird. Where does that synth voice come into play here? So that's that melody line. For what we're doing today, not going to work. And then we'll go ahead and take out that guitar mute. So again, with the trumpet being so iconic, we got to figure out a way to weave it back in. And for me, I want to get a drum shift in there. maybe it doesn't work as a piano. Does it work as... What's going on, Pi Bro? Dude, since you're on here though, I'm going with this like low funk beat. Can we metalize this? None of these riffs are gonna work. We'll try it, Pi Bro. I don't think it's gonna work though. Next time. Right. Electric piano accent. Where is this going to come into play? There. Let's make sure, does that startup work? Cut it there. 14. Scooch this to the 12. So split this beat here for a switch up, and then I think we can be wrapped up. What happened here? Is it because the claps are supposed to go first? I don't think this is going to work either. No. Do I need to scrap this classic beat altogether? This works, but man, this sounds so much like the old beats that me and Chase were trying to make, which maybe that's a good thing. 70s pop. Dude, cheese is so good. '70s pop is too filtered. Yachty. Too close to peaking there. How's that ballad sound? Okay, we need a filter on this accent. Or what if I muted this first part? Dude, get you some lunch, fuel that body, and thanks for popping in. Appreciate the chat. Hey, man, again, I appreciate it. Support, take care of yourself. Until next time. I need to duplicate this. Yep. Delete this one, delete that one, and then what is gonna go with that guitar at the end? Orchestra? No. Too big for single notes. String sky, cello to be deeper. No. We're crackling. Too harsh. Okay, I think that's it, people. Let's take it from the top, and then I'll publish this on SoundCloud. I'll show the upload process so you guys can check it out, but here we go. Some crackling. Okay, so if you check this out and you feel like you can do better, that's great. You probably can. tag me, let me know what you can work with. I'm going to export this now. SoundCloud, look up John Dow. I'm going to put it up here in case you want to download and listen on there. But that's going to be it for this stream. Other people who check this out later, well, first of all, we'll see how this DMCA thing with Twitch works. Like, if that's a big strike for me on this first one, probably can't keep doing this, or I got to be muting stuff a whole lot more often. But if it was good, it's fun. I'll probably be cutting down the stream into like a 5-minute version to put on YouTube for people to check out. But that's going to be it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Until next time.